What if the thing slowly draining your strength isn't time, but neglect? You're over 60, maybe 65, maybe more. You wake up, not tired exactly, but not yourself either. Your energy isn't gone. It's just hiding. Your drive isn't missing. It's waiting. Somewhere along the way, what used to feel natural clarity, strength, passion, has turned into questions. Where did it go? And is it coming back? That's the quiet ache too many men carry into the second act of life. But here's the shocker. The spark you think is lost may actually be waiting in the most ordinary place, your kitchen. I'm not talking about another supplement bottle, not another prescription. I'm talking about real food. Natural food. 3 humble nuts that hold the key to what so many men crave. Renewed blood flow, steadier energy, better performance. Not just in the bedroom, but in life. This isn't just nutrition advice. It's elderly wisdom. It's understanding how to work with your body instead of against it, especially as you age. That's the core of a healthy aging lifestyle. And in a world full of noise, distraction, and false promises, sometimes the smartest thing a man can do is return to what's real. Over the past 3 decades, I've walked alongside thousands of men navigating the subtle decline that often begins after 60. Many of them arrived at my office quiet, tired, sometimes ashamed, whispering the same things. I don't feel like myself. My body isn't responding. I want to be close to my partner, but something's off. They weren't looking for miracles, just clarity, just hope. And time after time, we started not with surgery or pills or strict diets, but with 3 simple, powerful foods. Foods I now call the performance nuts for seniors. Let's begin with the first one. A nut that's earned the nickname the Circulation King. It's small, it's common, but for men over 60, it can be a game changer. Walnuts. You see, everything starts with blood flow. Not just for performance, but for energy, for memory, for vitality. And as we age, our body produces less nitric oxide, a compound that keeps blood vessels relaxed and open. Less nitric oxide means tighter vessels, weaker flow, and all the consequences that come with it. Walnuts are packed with arginine, a precursor to nitric oxide. They gently reopen those vessels from the inside. And they're loaded with omega-3 south, which fight inflammation and support heart health, 2 critical pieces of senior vitality. I remember a patient named Tom, 68 years old. He sat in front of me with tired eyes and a heavy heart. "Doc," he said, "it's like my body just doesn't respond anymore." But it wasn't his desire that had changed. It was his circulation. And once we gave his body the nutrients it needed through a simple handful of walnuts each night, things began to shift. Within weeks, he was waking up more energized, feeling more like himself. His confidence returned, quietly, gradually, powerfully. That's the beauty of elderly wisdom. It reminds us, age doesn't mean broken. It means we need to listen more closely, fuel more intentionally, trust our biology, not fight it. So if you're feeling sluggish, if your mind isn't as sharp, if intimacy has become a source of stress instead of connection, start with this. A handful of walnuts each night. It's not magic, it's science. And it's just the beginning, because the next nut in our journey doesn't just support blood flow. It enhances performance in a way no prescription ever could. Let's keep going. The best is still ahead. The second nut on this journey might surprise you, not because it's rare or exotic, but because you've likely passed by it 1,000 times, never realizing the quiet power it carries. It's not just a snack. For men over 60, it might be the missing link to a better, fuller experience of life. Let's talk about pistachios. Yes, pistachios. Small, green, and tucked inside a stubborn little shell. But don't let that fool you. This nut holds one of the most powerful, clinically studied benefits for senior men's health, especially when it comes to restoring confidence, intimacy, and drive. You see, pistachios are rich in arginine, just like walnuts. That means they support healthy blood flow. But what sets them apart, and what earns them a critical spot in the elderly vitality diet, is their ability to boost erection strength and duration naturally. There was a remarkable study out of Turkey that followed men who added pistachios to their diet for just 3 weeks. No drugs, no surgeries, just a handful of pistachios a day. The results? Firmer erections, longer duration, improved satisfaction, all without a single side effect. This is why I call them the erection booster dot. But beyond the clinical data, I remember the real stories. Like Richard. He was 72, still sharp, still active. But there was a quiet frustration under his words. "I'm there in my head," he told me, "but my body isn't showing up." He had tried pills, blue ones, little ones, expensive ones, but they left him flushed, dizzy, off balance. What he wanted was a solution that aligned with who he was, a man who still cared deeply for his wife, who still wanted connection, not a gimmick dot. So I gave him a simple suggestion. Add a small handful of pistachios after lunch. That's it. 2 weeks later, he returned to my office with a light in his eyes I hadn't seen before. "Doc," he said, "it's like something turned back on. That's the beauty of this. We're not talking about miracle cures. We're talking about restoring what your body already knows how to do. That's elderly wisdom in action, using food as fuel, not filler. Choosing what supports the design nature gave you. Pistachios are packed with antioxidants, healthy fats, and plant sterols. These support vascular health, reduce inflammation, and even help lower bad cholesterol, an added bonus for any man pursuing a healthy aging lifestyle. But most importantly, they work, not instantly, not dramatically, but consistently. They help. Bring your physical self back into alignment with your mental and emotional self. That quiet sense of presence, of being there again, comes not from effort, but from nourishment. So if you felt disconnected, if frustration has crept into the parts of life that once brought joy, consider this your reminder. Your body hasn't given up. It's waiting for support. Add pistachios to your day. Let them become part of your senior energy boost. A gentle push toward vitality, not just for your body but for your relationship, your self-image, your sense of aliveness. Together with walnuts, pistachios form a powerful 1-2 combination. But there's still a third, not a less common one, but perhaps the most essential of all. Because while circulation and performance matter deeply, there's something even more foundational. Your hormones, your testosterone, your internal fire. And for that, we turn to the nut that speaks directly to your endocrine system. The one that might just restore not only your energy, but your sense of identity. Let's talk about Brazil nuts. There's a kind of fatigue that runs deeper than tired muscles or restless nights. It's the quiet exhaustion that settles in your bones. The sense that you're moving through life, but something inside you is dimming. Your energy's fading. Your desire isn't what it used to be. And no matter how hard you push, it feels like you're fighting against the tide. This, my friend, is not weakness. It's not failure. It's biology. And more importantly, it's reversible. Because the third nut in this journey doesn't just help blood flow. It goes deeper. It works at the core of what makes you a man, your hormones, your drive, your clarity. This is where real transformation begins. We're talking about Brazil nuts. Now, Brazil nuts aren't as common as walnuts or pistachios. You don't often find them in snack bowls or vending machines. But don't let their quiet presence fool you. They carry one of the most powerful tools for men's health over 60. Selenium. Selenium is a trace mineral, meaning your body needs only a little, but that little goes a long way. It plays a crucial role in testosterone production, prostate protection, and overall hormonal balance. Without it, your engine slows. With it, it begins to hum again. And here's the truth most people don't realize. Your body can't make selenium. It depends entirely on what you eat. And as we age, that need becomes more critical. One Brazil nut. Just one. That's all it takes. Let me tell you about Gary. He was 66, sharp-minded, full of stories, and deeply in love with his wife. But when he came to see me, his eyes told a different story. He said, "I'm eating right. I'm exercising. But something's still off. I just don't feel like me anymore." That's when I asked him, "Have you ever heard of selenium?" He shook his head. So I asked him to try one Brazil nut each morning. Nothing fancy. No complicated schedule. Just one small nut right after brushing his teeth. At first, nothing dramatic happened. But over the next few weeks, he began noticing small changes. His mood lifted. His thinking felt clearer. And then his drive returned, naturally, without force. He came back to my office and said, "It's like my body finally gave me permission to feel like a man again." That's what the elderly vitality diet is about. Not chasing youth. Not clinging to the past. But giving your body what it's quietly been asking for and letting it respond with grace and strength. Brazil nuts are the hormone restorers of the senior world. They don't demand much. In fact, more isn't better. Just one a day is plenty. But that one nut can act as a signal, a reminder to your system that it's still alive, still working, still full of potential. Combined with walnuts and pistachios. Brazil nuts complete the triangle of senior nutrition advice I give most often. Each nut supports a different pillar of vitality, circulation, performance, and hormone health. Together, they do more than you might expect. Because the truth is, your body was designed to work in harmony. It's not about fixing one thing at a time. It's about synergy, balance, restoration. So now you might be wondering, what happens when you use all three? What if these nuts for seniors aren't just snacks, but a silent strategy for reclaiming your energy, your masculinity, and your connection to life? That's what we're going to explore next. Because there's a reason these three were chosen, not randomly, not as trends, but because when they're combined, they unlock something remarkable. Let's dive deeper. The best is still unfolding. In nature, strength doesn't happen in isolation. It comes from connection, from the way small pieces fit together to form something far greater than the sum of their parts. Your body is no different. That's why these three nuts, walnuts, pistachios, and Brazil nuts, aren't just powerful on their own. When taken together, they create a kind of synergy that can shift everything, from how you sleep to how you feel in your skin. From your blood flow to your desire to get up and move again. I've seen it too many times to call it coincidence. I've watched it unfold in men who once thought their best days were behind them. Take Dan, for example. He was 71. He tried each of the nuts at different points over the years. A handful of pistachios here, some walnuts there. But it was sporadic, inconsistent, and after a while, he shrugged it off. "Doc," he said, "I've tried this stuff. I don't feel any different." So I asked him to try something new, not to add more pills, not to overhaul his life, just to do one small thing consistently, every day, for 21 days. Eat all three nuts, one Brazil nut in the morning, pistachios after lunch, and walnuts in the evening. Nothing more, nothing less. 3 weeks later, Dan walked back into my office with a different posture, straighter, more alert. "I don't know what's going on," he said, "but I feel lighter in the morning, more awake. My wife says I seem more present." That word stuck with me, present, because that's what this daily rhythm gives you. not just physical improvements, but a deeper reconnection with yourself, with your partner, with your sense of being alive. You see, elderly wisdom reminds us that healing is not about chasing youth, it's about restoring presence, restoring alignment between your body and your spirit. The walnut reopens your pathways, supporting circulation to the brain, heart, and beyond. The pistachio builds on that by enhancing performance and confidence, especially in the bedroom. And the Brazil nut fortifies your hormonal core, giving you energy, testosterone support, and protection where it matters most. Together, they form a full-circle approach for healthy aging men. A path that honors the realities of age without surrendering to them. And the best part, it doesn't require dramatic change. No grueling gym routines, no exhausting meal plans, no long lists of supplements cluttering your kitchen counter. Just 3 small actions, woven into your day like thread through fabric. It's senior nutrition advice that works with your life, not against it. This is the power of daily rituals, the foundation of a performance nut seniors routine that's not just effective, but sustainable. Not overwhelming, but empowering. It's easy to forget that greatness is built on small things, on the choices we make quietly, every day, without applause. But those are the choices that shape our trajectory. They're the ones that, over time, bring us back home to ourselves. So if you've been waiting for a sign, if you've been wondering whether something this simple could really work, this is it. You don't have to overhaul your world. You just have to begin. And yet, even the most powerful plan can be quietly undone by one thing. A mistake I see far too often in men who start strong, only to drift back into resignation. Let's talk about that. Because it might be the one thing still holding you back. The greatest danger for men over 60 isn't just heart disease, low testosterone, or fading stamina. It's quiet resignation. That slow, invisible surrender where you stop asking questions, stop expecting more, and begin telling yourself, this is just part of getting older. I've heard it more times than I can count. A slight shrug, a downturned glance, a half joke. Well, Doc, I guess I'm just past my prime. But here's what I need you to know, what you deserve to hear. That belief is the real problem. Not your age. Not your body. Not the calendar. It's the moment you stop believing that progress is possible. And that, more than any physical symptom, is what quietly cancels out all the good work you could be doing. Even if you eat the right foods, take the right steps, and follow the right plan, if underneath it all, you've given up, nothing sticks. I remember Bill, 69, retired, still cracking jokes, still sharp, but with a heaviness in his voice. I just figured this was my new normal, he said. And that broke my heart, because I knew it wasn't true. Bill didn't need a miracle. He didn't need to rewind time. He just needed a reason to begin again. A reason to believe that he could still feel strong, still feel desire, still walk into a room and own his presence. So I gave him a simple task. Start the nuts. Start walking a little more. Start believing that life wasn't over just because his testosterone dipped or his morning energy faded. Within weeks, something shifted. His eyes brightened. His voice steadied. His body responded. It wasn't about magic. It was about momentum. That's the heart of elderly wisdom. Understanding that it's not the passing years that weaken us. It's the stories we tell ourselves about what those years mean. So if you're watching this and you felt that same quiet fade, that sense that you're not as needed, not as sharp, not as present, hear this. It's not too late. There's a man inside you who still wants to feel alive, who still wants to wake up with purpose, who still deserves to walk with strength, energy, and pride. Don't let the mistake be silence. Don't let the mistake be doing nothing, waiting, hoping things will improve while you ignore what your body is asking for. Because here's the truth. Men who wait decline. Men who begin even slowly grow stronger. This isn't about turning back the clock. It's about making peace with the one you have, and then deciding to fill the time ahead with vitality instead of regret. So now that you understand what truly holds us back, it's time to walk forward. Let's make it simple. No confusion, no overwhelm. Just a clear path, a daily routine for senior energy, boost and longevity that supports men's health over 60 from the inside out. Now that you know the truth, the real reason behind the slow fade in energy, performance, and drive, let me offer you something better than a theory. A path. A simple, sustainable, and deeply effective daily ritual designed for healthy aging men. A way to nourish your body, reset your confidence, and remind yourself that the best years are not behind you. They're waiting right here. It begins with a habit so small, it almost seems like nothing. But when done with intention, it becomes a quiet declaration. I still matter. My vitality still matters. Here's what I recommend. Start your morning with a single Brazil nut. Just one. Keep it next to your toothbrush if you have to. One small nut, one mighty dose of selenium. This trace mineral supports testosterone, fuels your endocrine system, and helps protect your prostate. It's your hormonal insurance. A simple act that silently says, I choose to show up today. Around midday, especially when that afternoon fatigue starts to creep in, reach for a handful of unsalted pistachios. Not only are they packed with nutrients that lower inflammation and steady your energy, but they also support blood flow to the areas that matter most. For performance, for confidence, for connection. This is your senior energy boost. Your midday refuel. And then, as the day winds down, about an hour before bed, enjoy a small handful of walnuts. These are your recovery tools. Rich in omega-3s and arginine, they help restore circulation while your body rests. They calm inflammation, support your brain, and fuel nighttime repair. It's the kind of nourishment your body recognizes and responds to quietly, powerfully. 3 simple moments. Brazil nut in the morning. Pistachios in the afternoon. Walnuts in the evening. That's it. No fads. No extreme routines. Just a few consistent choices that honor your body's design and give it what it's been asking for all along. This isn't just nuts for seniors. This is elderly wisdom in action. Real fuel. Real change. One bite at a time. Because in the end, what transforms your life isn't big promises. It's small, consistent commitments done with purpose. I've seen men come alive again, shoulders back, voice stronger, eyes brighter, because they decided to stop believing they were done. They chose to feed their body, not punish it. To return to themselves, not run from age. And you can too. But before we close, I want to leave you with something even more important than food. A belief. A shift in perspective. Because the real transformation doesn't start with a nut, or a supplement, or a workout. It starts with one decision. To believe that your story isn't over. Stay with me. Let's finish this together. If you've made it this far, I want to speak to you not as a doctor or a voice in a video, but as someone who sat across from hundreds of men just like you. Men who've given everything to their families, their work, their responsibilities. And now, they're wondering, what about me? Where did I go? That question, though quiet, is powerful. Because it means you still care. You still want to feel alive. You still want to feel wanted. That spark is not gone. It's just waiting for you to come back to it. You've learned about 3 simple foods: walnuts, pistachios, and Brazil nuts. Together, they aren't just nutrients. They're a roadmap. A strategy built on elderly wisdom. A reminder that vitality doesn't have to fade with age. It can evolve. It can grow. It can come back stronger than you imagined. These are your performance nuts. Your allies in aging. A foundation for a senior vitality diet that supports your heart, your hormones, and your confidence. Naturally, gently, consistently, and most importantly, they're proof that healing doesn't need to be complicated. That progress doesn't require perfection. It just requires action. Because the real transformation isn't just physical. It's emotional. It's mental. It's spiritual. When you begin eating like a man who still values his strength. When you walk like a man who still owns his energy. When you believe that your life is still unfolding. Everything changes. Your presence deepens. Your relationships strengthen. Your sense of purpose returns. And all of that can begin not with a bold leap, but with one small step. One nut. One quiet yes to yourself. So if today's message stirred something in you, if even one part of this made you sit up a little straighter, breathe a little deeper, or imagine something better, I invite you to begin. Not tomorrow, not next week, today, fuel your body. Reclaim your strength. Walk with the kind of quiet power that comes from choosing not to give up on yourself. Because your best years didn't end at 60. They just got started. You still have time. You still have power. And you're still a man worth fighting for. If this video helped you, if it gave you clarity, comfort, or even just a gentle push, please take a moment to like it. It helps more men find this message. Subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell for future videos, and most importantly, share this with someone you care about. A friend, a brother, a father. You never know how one conversation can change a life. And if you're ready to take that first step, just drop a comment below. I'm starting today. Because that, my friend, is where it all begins. You still strong, still vital, still here. Let's keep going.